Here.
Alderman Hayes.
Here.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Mosio. I just said hello to him. Oh, well. Alderman Kirkwood.
Present.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we have the invocation by Pastor Dr. Wade Stevenson from Gideon Missionary Baptist Church? Thank you so much this evening for staying with us. We know we're behind. Thank you so much.
Let us pray together. God of our wonderful and weary years, of our celebration and silent tears, Thou who has brought us this far on the way, by your own might led us into the light, keep us forever on the path, showing who you are in all we say and do. You are faithful to your word. Help us to be more faithful in doing and saying your will done on earth as it is in heaven. You are wise. Help our mayor, chief, clerk, city officials to make wise decisions that bring glory to your name, that bring equity and opportunities to your people. You're powerful. Help our community to reflect your strength in our homes, houses of worship, health, and education, and in our community at large. You're present with us. Let us be present with each other in times of celebration and challenge till we can stand at last, say true to our God, true to our native land. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank God. Save the Republic.
Can I have a motion to seat Alderman Mosio first? Okay.
Thank you.
Alderman Newsome and
Thank you.
Alderman Kirkwood. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to being in person to this evening's City Council meeting. I just want to make sure that we remember that we're still wearing masks as of now. Next meeting, we will be following what the governor's guidelines are. So you may see some switches in seating and that kind of thing, but thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I want to make a couple of announcements of events going on. This week on Thursday, Black History Month is a panel discussion, and it's February 24th, and it is a resource fair from 5 to 5:30, and the event begins at 5:30. And the speakers will be Robert Marshall from the Boys and Girls Club, Rita Mayfield, our state representative, Anthony McIntyre, the Ant Mound Foundation CEO, and Brandon Ewing from the school board. We will have on our Facebook, our Shining Stars is looking for supplies to make Easter baskets for children in need. And there is a list of supplies that they are looking for, so we will post that on our city website so that you have that. And then Thursday, March 31st from 4 to 8, the Express Employment Professionals is having their 10th anniversary, and they are located at 2728 Grand Avenue. So if you would like to attend, please RSVP to them, and the number is 847-782-7268. I'm happy to share with everyone tonight that the COVID-19 cases have steadily declined since our last recent spike, and we anticipate that the governor is going to be adjusting the mask mandate, as I just talked about, and they will probably include removing masks indoors. The city will follow those guidelines and the recommendations of the CDC and keep our residents safe while returning to public spaces. So again, keep watch on our Facebook pages. We'll let you know how those play out and what those rule changes will be. But we will be following exactly what Governor Pritzker says. In other exciting news, our neighborhood policing units have been reinstated to keep our neighborhoods safe and provide trusted resources to our residents. The officers also participate in a neighborhood watch meeting, so if you haven't done one and you would like to have a neighborhood watch program in your neighborhood, please let us know. And when the opportunity arises, they stop by schools to engage with the students. I urge you to connect with your neighborhood officer for any ongoing non-emergency incidents that you have, any questions or concerns. And the officers' hours may vary primarily, but they are primarily available in the daytime, but they always have email and phone number access. As a reminder, city stickers are going to be going on sale next Tuesday, March 1st. If you previously purchased a city sticker, you have received or can expect to receive an application for renewal in the mail. City stickers may be purchased online at several convenience stores in Waukegan and Window 2 here in City Hall. For more information about buying or renewing stickers, visit tinyurl.com/Waukegan2022. Again, if you have purchased dog tags as part of your city sticker purchase, you will not need to purchase dog tags anymore. We're also excited to share that the city has a new form of communication to share with its residents and businesses. It's a monthly email news. If you'd like to receive updates about our community and resources, please sign up to receive these e-newsletters by emailing enews@waukeganil.gov. As many of you know, efforts to clean up our lakefront began 30 years ago, and so much advancement has taken place in that time. So I'm thrilled that last week to have, as the Waukegan News Sun described it, political heavyweights come to Waukegan to tout how President Biden's infrastructure plan will benefit our harbor. We are hopeful that this is another step forward in having Waukegan Harbor delisted as an EPA area of concern, which will only further the beauty and economic prospects of our city. Similarly, we are hosting an environmental town hall meeting to discuss the city's environmental efforts, including ETO, coal ash, lead pipe replacement, and other environmental concerns in our community. We will have a date in the next week, and it'll be posted on our Facebook and our city website for you if you're interested in attending that. Lastly, I'd like to make a statement tonight for those of you in the audience. Last Wednesday, February 16th, Waukegan police arrested a juvenile student at Waukegan High School in connection with a shooting that occurred earlier in the month at the Dollar General store on Grand Avenue. On Friday, after receiving information and evidence from the community regarding the juvenile's whereabouts on the night of the crime, the police department determined that the student could not have been involved in the shooting, and the police department requested the juvenile's immediate release from custody, which occurred on Friday morning. The juvenile is no longer considered a suspect in the shooting, and all the charges have been dropped, and no further charges will be considered. This case remains open and active investigation by the Waukegan Police Department, but not involving this juvenile. Unfortunately, we cannot discuss or disclose more information regarding the matter due to the juvenile's age. However, I can tell you that the city has reached out to the juvenile's family through their attorney to have an open conversation. And as a mayor, I fully commit to reviewing both the facts of the case and the city's policies to prevent situations like this from happening in the future. Furthermore, the city would like to offer the family and their attorney the opportunity to view the tapes as soon as tomorrow. So if they would like to reach out to us, we would love to provide that information to the family and their attorney. On that note, there's no further any other announcements, so we'll move on to resolutions, proclamations, presentations, and appointments. We were going to do a presentation this evening from Full House, but because of the length of our meeting tonight, we have decided to postpone that. The aldermen have actually received their first presentation from Full House, but we will do one in the future for you. There will be, I do want to make one announcement about Full House, is they are now accepting applications for employment. You can go to americanplace.com. They also will be having a couple job fairs coming up. You can find that information on their website. And again, just see the video and see what the casino is going to be like. Things will be moving quickly on the casino, so you'll be hearing lots of information in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. At this time, audience time, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a few speakers tonight. You have 3 minutes. Podium's there. Please introduce yourself. The first one will be Shelley Colwin.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor and City Council members. My name is Shelley Colwin. I represent DC Tricor. DC Tricor is a business that's been in business for 20 years. It's been in Waukegan for 10. It's owned by Lisa Cohn, who was forced to take over the business 20 years ago when her husband suddenly died, and she was left with 2 small children and no other visible means of support. For 5 years, Larry Bromstead of Auto Parts City was her landlord. In the last year, Mr. Bromstead repeatedly urged Ms. Cohn to sell out to him, essentially, to pay him $8 million for the right to be his partner and to share 50% of her profits with him. She refused to do so, and Mr. Bromstead told her he would destroy her. Over the next few weeks after that and months ensuing, he made a series of false and defamatory statements about her business. Last week, he went in front of the City Zoning Commission, repeated a number of serious allegations, including, all false, including that somehow Ms. Cohn had gotten her zoning through what he put strange means, implying that bribes were paid to somebody in the zoning department, if not to people sitting before me right now. All of this, of course, was ludicrous and completely false. Yesterday, Mr. Bromstead's lawyer sent a letter to all of you outlining alleged illegalities that Ms. Cohn's business is engaging in. In it, he cited to 815 ILCS 3254.1 and said that Ms. Cohn was operating without a license. What the lawyer failed to do, though, was include provision 4 of that law, which fully exempts her from it, as long as she keeps proper documentation about what she buys and where she sells it, which she does, and anyone is free to inspect that documentation at any time. The lawyer also presented to you a proposed law that would have subjected Ms. Cohn's business to other regulatory licensing. That law, of course, the lawyer failed to tell you, did not pass as written, and 325.4.1 is still in effect. In addition, he alleged that she was engaged in environmental violations. False, no evidence of it, mere speculation, all untrue, and to further put a point on it, DCT has an environmental consultant that it works with regularly and is in full compliance with all environmental laws. I tell you all of these things because the reason Mr. Bromstead is making these statements, the reason he's spreading these false allegations, and the reason he's trying to destroy Ms. Cohn, who has spent the last 20 years building this business as a woman-owned business alone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Calvin Mathis, please.
Good evening. The last time I stood here, I appealed to you leaders to lead. In light of the situation that has transpired in the last couple of weeks, I'm going to conclude my presentation on the murder of Marcellus Danette. I think the call for leadership and accountability has been somewhat answered, and I appreciate that. Two of the most important things of the city that can define a city is good schools in a good police department. And I think we got a good start to start out with. I don't know where we're going to be this time next year. But if we're in the same place, I'll be back. And I want to also say I was going to put in my presentation because I didn't plan on finishing this early. We're spending $80,000 per year on training for the police department for something that should be handled in the human resource department. And I understand how that position came about as a political move. And I think everybody up here, we got some people, we know who we're talking about. That $80,000 is not necessary. That's for a friend of a friend and a political appointee. But I'll let that one go. But I just want to say that I'm a member of BAM, and I appreciate that we are about solutions. And I appreciate the leadership of Brother Blanks in guiding the organization in such a way that we can be about solutions. And I invite anybody who wants to discuss solutions of the community to come down to BAM and sit under the Star-Spangled Banner or behind the Star-Spangled Banner, and let's discuss these things. That's a book that Brother Blanks wrote. It has a emblem of what is perceived to be maybe a torn flag, but it talks about all the ills of America and that we don't face, that we don't talk about, but we need to talk about. And I invite anybody to come down and let's discuss these things so we can talk about solutions. And I just appreciate the leadership. Mayor Taylor, I'm gonna step aside and I'm gonna let you lead. And I just hope the best for the city, in the police department, in the school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin. Kate Collmore.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'd like to thank Alderman Kirkwood, Moisio, and Turner for promptly returning my calls and listening to my comments regarding the recent retiring of former Police Chief Wayne Walls. Your time was much appreciated, gentlemen. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same thank you to Mayor Taylor or the Genesee Theater Management. My calls to them regarding a different matter went unanswered, so I'll voice those concerns now. I'd like to know why we, the citizens of Waukegan, who own the Genesee, are allowing our magnificent theater to be sullied by the likes of a known abuser and serial sexual harasser of women, Bill O'Reilly. This sorry excuse of a man has admittedly paid out more than $30 million to settle numerous lawsuits for his decades-long atrocious behavior. As a city of progress, led by our first female mayor, we should do better. Is the theater management unable to attract better talent? So I ask you, who will be next? Bill Cosby?
Thank you. Margaret Carrasco.
Yes, good evening. I'm glad to hear that we're getting, or in the process of starting to get new fire trucks, ATVs, ambulances, et cetera, that's desperately needed. And I propose that, don't throw them away. I know that I would like for the information how we can go about. I've been approached by the Tonatico, Mexico, and in Honduras. They're in desperate need. We can fix anything. So I don't know what's the process to buy them, purchase them, but we're definitely interested. Next, I wanted to make sure, once again, reiterate what the mayor said this evening, that Waukegan residents are aware of a great opportunity. On March 15th, the American Place, Waukegan's new casino, will be interviewing applicants for hundreds of jobs. Apply, apply, apply. On February 7th, Full House issued a press release in which they included an update for American Place project. in Waukegan. The company recently entered into an agreement, as was mentioned before, to purchase the 10 acres of land adjoining the approximately 30-acre casino site to be leased from the city, providing spaces for additional parking and access to casino site from the major road. The company also recently agreed to purchase a sprung tent structure. It's approximately the size of 2 football fields and will house the temporary casino at American Place while the permanent facility is being constructed. It's going to include 1,000 slot machines, 50 game tables, a fine dining restaurant, boy, we need that, and 2 additional restaurants and a center bar. Also, they announced their completion dates, amenities, and closing of the purchasing of the additional land, including approval from the Illinois Gaming Board. Lastly, Full House announced the promotion of John Ferrocci, I believe, who's going to be in charge of this temporary American Place until a permanent person is assigned. The sprung tent structure is expected to arrive to Waukegan in late March. So, in 30 days? And opening of the temporary casino is expected to occur this summer. I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco. Brother Blanks, please.
Brother Blanks, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind. I just wanted to comment tonight on the retirement of the chief, former chief, here at the city of Waukegan. And change is inevitable. I look at it, I've been coming to this city council meeting since 2004. And I would like to think that what I'm seeing, wish to Chief the best in his retirement. I would like to think what we are bearing witness to is the ending of an era of what I have seen of excessive, not only seen, but been fighting against excessive abuse, of brutality, and excessive force. If I have to name a few, I can go back as far as young Jeffrey Lewis, who was shot and killed in front of his mother in his front yard. Young Paris Bankhead. Giorgio Perez and Jonathan Garcia. These are all students and children that I have watched. If I have to go a little bit further, I have to think about young Avion Cotton's grandmother who stood right here begging for some answers to what happened to her grandson, and the only thing she could get was a letter of coercion telling her what she should not do if they gave her the tapes. So I wish him the best, but I think change is inevitable, and when change comes, we should not fight against it if it's good change. So what I've seen, what we bearing witness to is change, and I heard that the new mayor was considering maybe making a nationwide search. Well, if all of these excessive abuses and police brutality that have happened under people that have been here and from this era, perhaps that change may have to come outside of this city in the best interest of those who are not beholden to old abusive patterns and practices that have plagued this city for years. I look for change that is going to be in the best interest of the city government, but more importantly, in the best interest of our citizens, particularly our children. There should not have been that many children that I've had to come up here and represent. Mr. Marzio, I mean, that was aldermen who have sat here while this went on and didn't have a mumbling word to say about it. That was here. I watched this go on and fought against it since 2004, and many of the aldermen and women who was here during that time had nothing to say. So if change is inevitable and it's for the better, if it's got to come from outside or wherever it's got to come from, let it happen for the best interest of everybody and all constituents, and more particularly our children that is involved. So what happened with this young...
Thank you, Brother Blanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, that concludes your audience time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Consent agenda.
Your Honor, if we want to take the rest of new business on omnibus, do we have to do it now, Corporation Counsel?
No, we'll do it under new business when we get there, right?
Okay, thank you.
No problem, thank you. Consent agenda. Can I have a first?
I'll first.
Alderman Rivera, second.
Second.
Alderman Seeger. Any questions? Well, I'll read the motions and then I'll ask for any questions. Item A, motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Monday, February 7th, 2022. Motion to approve vendor payments dated February 21st, 2022 in the total amount of $1,239,698.90. Item C, motion to approve the regular payroll dated February 11th, 2022 in a total amount of $647,288.81. Item D, motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, retro and final payout dated January 28th, 2022 in the total amount of $27,599.75. Item E, motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, PD holiday payback, comp time cash out, elected official and civil service stipend, promotion cash out, and final payout dated February 11th, 2022 in the total amount of $26,811.74. Any questions to the motions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There being no reports and communication or old business, on to new business.
We got-
We'll do a motion for omnibus, but I'm going to pull some out first, okay? Item B was taken out of committee, and for the public, the reason that was taken out of the committee was that GHA Technologies could no longer provide the prices that they'd initially given us, so that was pulled out. Item L, was that changed in committee? Was the motion on the ordinance amending? Oh, we just. Pulled that out. Yeah, we pulled that out, okay. So you'll be pulling out item L, item O, and item P will be pulled out. Any others that anybody wants pulled out?
Yes, ma'am. From A, H, I, and J.
H, I, and J.
We're gonna do all that. We might as well just go one by one. Just go one by one, Mayor, forget it.
Okay. Okay, item A, can I have a first?
I'll first.
Alderman Rivera, second. Second. Alderman Hayes. A motion authorizing the proper city officials to settle fire department workman's compensation claim 20101-2W0021 for a total amount not to exceed $218,000. This matter was presented to the Government Operations and Oversight Committee at the special meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item C, can I have a first?
I'll first.
Alderman Rivera, second.
I'll second.
Alderman Newsome. Motion to authorize the mayor to submit multiple applications to the Lake County Council of Mayors Surface Transportation Block Grant Program for federal participation relative to engineering and reconstruction of various road projects in the city of Waukegan for a total project value of $47,584.
47 million.
Well,
No, 47 million.
47 million, I'm sorry, they don't have, $47,584,550. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to this motion? There being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item D, can I have a motion, first? Alderman Newsom, a second.
I'll second.
Alderman Rivera. A motion to authorize the proper city officials to waive the competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Section 2458-I1 and authorize the purchase of one ambulance from Foster Coach Sales Incorporated in the total amount of $357,481. The purchase will be funded with the proceeds from the American Rescue Plan that will be charged to line item 205-120-526-493. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. For the public who doesn't necessarily know this, we generally waive the competitive bidding process in this because there's only limited places you can do this. Also, for those of you who don't know, even though we are applying or buying this now, as many of you know who are buying cars and everything, it doesn't mean that we're going to have this ambulance tomorrow or this fire. I think this was a fire truck. It will not happen tomorrow. The back orders are pretty much there. So we're just putting this in now, and we will pay for it, but we will not be getting it. I don't even think it'll be in the next 6 months. Yeah, 360 days is what the committee has reported on that. Any questions to this motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager. Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item E, can I have a first?
First.
Alderman Florian.
I'll second.
Alderman Hayes. Item E, motion to authorize the proper city officials to waive the competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Section 2458I-1 and authorize the purchase of one fire engine from Seagrave Fire Apparatus LLC in the total amount of $664,183. The purchase will be funded through the proceeds from the American Rescue Plan and will be charged to line item 205-120-526-493. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Again, same thing as I just explained, why we're doing them so far in advance. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item F, motion to authorize the proper city, well, I'm sorry, I need a first. Alderman Hayes, second. Alderman Newsom. I gotta get this end to cooperate. All I'm getting is here. Item F, motion to authorize the proper city officials to waive the competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Section 2458I-1 and authorize the purchase of 2 command vehicles from John Jones Automotive Group in the total amount of $97,609. The purchase will be funded with proceeds from the American Rescue Plan and will be charged to line item 205-120-526-493. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item G, can I have a first?
I first.
Alderman Kirkwood, second.
I first.
Alderman Hayes.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Bolton. Let's do Alderman Bolton. Item G, motion to approve the City of Waukegan's 2022 share of the Fountain Square of Waukegan Common Area Maintenance Expense Budget and allocation of $92,576 to be paid in quarterly installments from line item 100-806-824438. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion?
Yeah, real quick. This will go away pretty soon, correct? Operation Council? I mean,
And if we
We
don't
will
solve
we will be addressing this as part of the documents approving the casino and addressing the city's cost share on this.
Thank God.
It's negotiable. Okay, any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Item H, can I have a first?
So moved.
Alderman Hayes, second by Alderman Florian. Motion to authorize the proper city officials to enter into a consulting service agreement with Convergence Strategy Group for a casino revenue review and community impact study in the amount of $47,500 plus expenditures. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to the motion?
Yes, ma'am, if I may. Yeah, I am not clear on why we need to do a revenue review study for a business at a cost of $50,000. I mean, if we're going to hire somebody to guesstimate what the casino's revenue is going to be, when the casino has already provided those numbers, what they think they're going to be. And if, let's say, for instance, this strategy group comes back and says, well, they don't think that the casino is going to make as much money as the casino thinks they're going to make. And then what? What are we going to do? So I don't see the purpose in spending taxpayer money to...
This is not taxpayer.
It's not
Yes.
taxpayer
It's
money.
not taxpayer money.
Yeah.
So I'll explain this so the public understands that, because that's a very good question, and I think you need clarification on that
Right.
from the public. Why we're doing this is they have given us, I think it's 10-year projection. Their numbers show that they're going up every year.
Right?
Traditionally, casinos don't go up that far out. So we want to know, for budgeting purposes for our revenues, how accurate are those numbers, so that we have an estimate when we do our budget, what is realistic to expect and what is not. We are not paying for the study. That will be billed to the casino. And Corporation Counsel, would you like to address that?
Yeah, and I want to add that this is really a two-part study, because with the casino, there are going to be revenues that are going to come in via taxes and land rent payments, because they plan to lease the property on a 99-year ground lease. But there are also going to be costs that putting a facility of this size in our community are going to impose on the community, whether it be fire, police, and if the city is going to be thinking more long-term, as Mayor Taylor has stressed, if we start thinking beyond just the next budget year, we have to look at where our revenues and our costs are going to be. And so what this study is going to do is it's going to start from what the numbers that the casino is providing, but really giving us some forward visibility. And that's the intent of that. And I mentioned this in the Finance and Purchasing Committee, that when a developer comes to build a significant project in the city of Waukegan, and this is not just Waukegan, many communities have these provisions, they're required to cover the third-party costs that the city incurs in trying to review, approve, and basically remove all negative effects of a project. So when the city hires extra consultants to approve this casino, which is a very big project that's happening very fast, they actually are required to pay those costs for the city. And the city will control these consultants. The consultants will be responsible to us, be responsible to the city council, answerable to the city. But it is not taxpayer funds that are paying these next three these next 3 contracts. And that's something that, that we wanted to emphasize.
Just to piggyback on this, this is the city doing the due diligence that needs to be done, dotting the i's and crossing the t, and hiring experts that know far more than any of us up here or anybody. No offense to anybody in this building, but they have far too much to do in this building already. They cannot be overseeing a casino and a project of this magnitude. So this is just us doing our due diligence, dotting our i's, crossing our t's. That's all this is. And again, we're not paying for it. The developer is the casino operators. Thank you.
Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item I, can I have a first?
So moved.
Okay, wait, I didn't hear all that. So Alderman Rivera, a second?
Sure.
Alderman Seeger?
Yeah, I don't know. Mayor, you wanted input. What input down here? You're not giving me any.
Item I, motion to authorize the proper city officials to enter into a consulting services agreement with JLL for a project management and oversight services for the temporary and permanent casino projects. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee at the meeting held February 22nd, 2022. Again, what this is having somebody oversee some of the things that we don't simply have the staff or the ability to manage a large project like this, and we want to make sure it's done right. And some of the things that will be included in this is to make sure that there is enough minority hiring that gets done, that the project is on time, on budget, that kind of thing. So again, this is not something that the taxpayers are picking up. This is something that the casino will pay. Any other questions to the motion?
Yeah, I didn't ask the first question, if I may. So again, we're entering into a consulting services agreement to provide. I don't understand why we're managing the construction and build out of the casino. That's what the casino people do. And I mean, if we set some requirements around hiring or whatever, I don't know why we would do that. But whatever constraints we impose on them, then they just have to demonstrate that
Well,
they're meeting those
I'll have
constraints,
corporate
right?
counsel answer that, but first I will say, we don't have the staff to be able to have all the engineering that they would need, all the oversight of this. So that's some of the services that they would provide. But again, corporate counsel will add more to that.
Okay,
And that's a very fair question, Alderman Turner, because they will have a project manager on their side. What this position is often referred to in the construction and development business as an owner's representative. So if you have the landowner or a property owner where a project is being constructed and you want to make sure that it's basically the point person on our side making sure that the developer is getting everything that they need from us,
Right.
because they are going to be requiring a huge amount of staff time, a huge amount of response, and then also that we're minimizing any negative impacts that what they're doing has on the community. This project will be up and running for decades. The city basically has one shot to get it right. And so that's the intent of involving someone like JLL.
Great, and that's great, so thank you very much. You know, that leads me to another question. So one of it's an extremely common complaint, an observation and complaint from many of our entities seeking to do business in Waukegan, be they developers, business operators, whomever. If people want to get a license, permits, go through our process. The common complaint is that it's lengthy, it's burdensome, and there's a lack of communication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we've all heard that. So with this project management consultant, is this then going to expedite walking these casino people through getting whatever it is they need done. The permitting, we heard,
Yeah.
someone said it's going to be 12 mil, I think, building commissioner said $12 million in licensing fees, permit fees?
Permit fees,
Permit
yeah.
So this project management position or role, person, is going to help to facilitate the expeditious processing of those types of requests and such and so forth.
Yes, I think that's the key here, that if the city, if you could double all the people who worked in City Hall, they could maybe take on this project. But, one, we don't have the budget for that, and two, the idea is, yeah, that this consultant will have a twofold job, to protect the city and to facilitate the project.
We have to remember, too, they only have 2 years as a temporary casino.
Right.
So this is going to happen very quickly. And again, we don't have the manpower, the staff, the knowledge to do it. We're protecting our interests, make sure things are done right. And again, I'm sure the casino, they don't want to have to run down here and talk to this person and they don't know and go to and do all that rigmarole. They want a point person on this, bam, they go. It's our point people to make sure things get done right on our end and their end.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense.
Got it. Alderman Turner.
For me, one of my concerns of doing this, I'm sorry.
Can I go ahead?
Make one statement quick, and then one of my concerns was that this is one of the biggest projects we've ever done in Waukegan. We don't have the staff, and we don't have the time to get the staff up and running in order to get this project going. We want this to be a great project, and in order for that to happen, we need the help that already has the knowledge that we don't have the time to address right now in our staff. You know, technically, we can't even hire until after a budget would be approved, which would be May 1st. They want their temporary up this summer. So this is a way of making that happen, and this group does professional projects of this size and magnitude. They are currently working on another big project, so they're very equipped at handling this. And I think this is the best way to assure that this is what's great for our city.
Absolutely.
In terms of getting this project done well.
Thanks.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is, how can we ensure that local minorities are involved in this project? Not just minorities, because they can get them wherever around the county. How do we ensure that there are local minorities hired on this construction site and individuals are ensured that, you know, we get those individuals hired from Waukegan area? Since it's a Waukegan project, not out in Grays Lake, other places, but Waukegan minority residents, because that doesn't happen normally when we have this large of a project. And I like to make sure that we have some insurance.
Well, this
that will
particular
occur.
group, that's one of the things that they have an area of expertise with, is making sure and overseeing that. And the other part of it is they also do the environmental. So I think, do you want to address that?
Well, I think, the thing that we didn't have time for tonight was the presentation from Full House itself. But Full House has made commitments not only to the city of Waukegan, but to the state of Illinois on how they plan to do business and how they plan to build these facilities. And one of the representations they have made is a diverse workforce, a local workforce. And I think it's important to hear what they're committing to, and then we can talk about how to make sure that that actually happens.
Okay, because that's a concern of mine, is that they can talk about it, but I want to make sure that our local minorities are hired on those projects. They're part of the project management. There's some set-asides that could be done for the minorities in the community, so it just doesn't go to the large companies that really don't reside in the Waukegan area. That's my concern.
How would you envision that we ensure that happens, Alderman Kirkwood? What steps could we take, or what would you suggest?
Well, I think that we certainly invite those minority companies in Waukegan area that has smaller business that can have the proper dollars beside them, that they get a set aside. You know, this is a multi-million-dollar project. So you set aside 10 million of that and say, okay, this is going to go to this minority group, and you're going to hire local people. You know, so that we know that Waukegan residents who have a skill set will be hired of that project. The project, say, is 42 million. You give $5 or $10 million set aside. It happens all the time in the city of Chicago.
It's a good idea.
I have something. Now, I understand that it's supposed to be at least 20 or 30% minority. Is that? Elaborate.
Once again, I defer to Full House as to what their commitments to the state are on that. And when they come back, we can, hopefully at the next meeting, we can have them present on that.
One thing I do want to make this opportunity to make this point of is, don't go and apply for a job and tell people, oh, my alderman says that you should hire me. Because that is the absolute guarantee that they will not hire you.
That's right.
So do not ask for an elected official to refer you, because that is an instant no. And they have made that perfectly clear. So I'm going to make that even the statement to the alderman: don't make recommendations, because you will not help that person in any way, shape, or form. And I'm telling that to the public. Do not give an elected official as a reference, because it will not help you.
One final question, and thank you for the explanation, Sykes. But there's no number associated with how much are we going to pay these folks?
Yeah, so what we're going to do on this is it's going to be a yearly contract. We have not set a maximum. We did it the way we do for like hiring a consulting engineer or an attorney. And one of the things that we have discussed is that since it is coming out of the developer's escrow, is that we are going to be watching the money, because it's easy to spend other people's money. So one of the things that we want to do is we're getting a budget from JLL for the first 6 months, the first year, and then the first 18 months, which we're going to have approved. But right now, we're just asking basically to enter into a consulting services agreement for hourly rates on an as-needed basis.
All right, thank you, sir. Call for the vote.
Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item J, can I have a first?
First.
Alderman Hayes, second.
So
Alderman
moved.
Yes.
Say it louder.
Item J, motion to authorize the proper city officials to enter into a consulting services agreement with Sam Schwartz Consulting LLC to provide parking and traffic engineering peer review services in the amount of $26,000 plus expenses. This matter was presented before the Finance and Purchasing Committee on the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to this motion? Alderman Turner, I can see you thinking. What is it?
You can read me too well, Mayor. Yeah, just I'd like an explanation.
For the casino, it's another consultant for the casino.
Well, but this is a distinct one also. So, when you stick a facility of this size, it's going to generate at full occupancy on some days potentially doubling the traffic of some of the arterial roads around the casino, including Waukegan Road. We want to do a traffic and parking study to make sure that what's being provided for with regard to the roads, with regards to circulation, with regards to parking is sufficient, so this doesn't turn into a gridlock situation, and this doesn't negatively impact the other businesses around it. We've said it over and over again, it's rare that you get a project of this size anywhere, and it's very rare that a city like Waukegan gets a $500 million project. So we need to make sure that we're not putting a burden on the residents and neighbors around the project.
I know you weren't here when the proposals were put forth, but I thought there was traffic studies included in those proposals. Am I wrong?
There may have been. The scope of this project, as Full House will present, has increased significantly since what they proposed in 2019. Okay. And our goal is to make sure, once again, that I'm going to use the lawyer word or the economist word of externalities, that when you create issues that you kind of push out onto the public to deal with, that we're going to minimize those, and that's the whole goal of this.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, Alderman Bolton.
Thank you. How are our taxpayers, their taxes being affected by this?
No, once again, this is another one of the consulting contracts that's being paid out of the developer escrow, and so it's being paid for by the casino. And so the taxpayers are not paying for this particular service, and hopefully by doing this, we can make the taxpayers' lives better so they don't spend as much time sitting in traffic.
Thank you.
Cool.
Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mosio. Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item K. Can I have a first?
A second.
Okay, Alderman Mosio and Alderman Seeger. Item K, motion to approve a text amendment to the zoning ordinance defining dog training facility and assigning it to permitted use in the B2 and B3 districts under the zoning calendar 2647. This matter was heard by the Code Revisions Appeal and the Negotiations Committee at the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mosio. Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item L, I believe, was taken off. Item M, can I have a first? Alderman Rivera, second. Alderman Kirkwood. Motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the approval of the City of Waukegan's Complete Streets Policy. This matter was heard by the Code Revisions, Appeals, and Negotiations Committee in the meeting held on February 22nd, 2022.
What does that mean?
Well,
Complete streets.
this one was, yeah. Jesus, are you still here?
Good afternoon, council members. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, well, could you just explain what the Complete Streets program is? What is that?
So the Complete Streets program evaluates the roads that are in the city. We take into account the traffic flow for every single street and determine whether we can improve upon pedestrian access in the sidewalks and also bicycle paths. We also evaluate safety, how the crossings can be improved with current standards.
Right.
Any traffic calming devices, implement new type of signal depending on where it is located. But it's essentially a way to make the city more accessible, not just to traffic, but to various others modes of transportation, which includes your pedestrians and bicycles. It's an extensive process that takes place in the engineering.
Right.
There's a study that can be done for weeks, possibly months, depending on which project we're looking at. But this is essentially the first stepping stone for the city to start implementing the policies that are needed, such as sidewalks, bicycle paths where they don't exist or where new improvements are proposed.
Yeah. Outstanding. Thank you very much. So I'm really excited about that, excuse me, for three reasons. One of the things that I've been seeking to accomplish now for about a year, trying to work with the county to get it done, is to have those some kind of flashing lights installed where the McCrory bike path crosses the major intersections in Waukegan, North Chicago and Waukegan, right? So, and they're kind of don't seem very interested in helping along those lines. But also, And I think several of us have talked about in the past the appearance of the condition of our major thoroughfares and our entry points in into Waukegan, like Grand Avenue, Belvedere. And often when I travel those roads, I see deteriorated curbs, lack of or deteriorating traffic control lines and so forth, turn lanes and separation lines. And also one of my pet peeves, and I hope that this too can be included in your study, because it's a real pet peeve of mine, is when I travel anywhere in Waukegan and I look over and see weeds growing out of the sidewalk. That just is disturbing to me, and I hope that you will consider those kinds of observations in your policy procedures.
Yes, well, those aesthetics take place within the Public Works Department. That's more of a maintenance issue, but definitely there are ways that engineering can mitigate some of those. And just so you know, the policy that we're implementing now, it's in conjunction with the Lake County Council of Mayors application, just because we are going to receive a lot more points than before by having this policy in place. So it ultimately helps the city. So some of the maintenance issues we can address offline, but this is strictly for road reconstruction, resurfacing, addressing the curb issues, drainage issues, and any other items that we pretty much need in the city.
Great, thank you very much.
Jesus, will you answer one more question for me?
Yes, ma'am.
So for some of the aldermen who don't know this, we used to get money for this project. We have not had a city engineer since, what, 2007, 2008?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And we have not applied for this money. So we have left at least 1.2 million, I believe, on the table every year.
At least, yes.
So we are now going back.
Every year?
Yes, that we could have qualified for this, and we never applied.
$20 million.
So this is something that I found out about, and I think Alderman Florian found out about it last fall, and it became a mission for me of, those of you who know me, I don't leave money on the table.
Yeah.
So once I found that out, and then we had a wonderful city engineer come on that we have just like, he's been amazing. That was one of our first missions, was to go after this. So again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the work you've done. You've been amazing.
As I said.
Well, thank you, but I also want to thank the Planning and Zoning and our Public Works Director. They're very helpful on these items. So I'm just the one pushing it through, making sure everything's fine, but they're the ones who ultimately started this process.
One team, one fight, right?
Right.
Alderman Florian?
Thank you, Mayor. Sir, how does this coordinate with what CMAP is doing? I had a lengthy conversation with them about what they were helping us do. They gave us that presentation a couple months ago, and so I'm just trying to wrap my head around how this coordinates with what they're doing.
So one good example, it's CMAP has done a study in the city along the Washington Street, what they call the Washington Street corridor. This is one of the applications that we are submitting. CMAP has addressed ways to improve the traffic, meaning the pedestrian traffic, make it more accessible, more curb appealing. I know CDBG has done work in that corridor as well. So a lot of items that CMAP is giving us, now we're acting on. I am in calls with them every 2 weeks to determine various other projects.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress, but now we're working through.
So you're working together with them?
Working
It's
together.
not like you're both working in two separate?
No.
Okay,
No,
perfect.
yeah, it's integral, and again, our Planning and Zoning Department and Public Works, they also have an input in this.
Thank you. And thank you, Mayor, for listening to Mr. Moore and going forward with this.
This is, like I said, this is money on the table for us that we do not want to lose. And one of the things that I'm so proud of is that our staff is working together like I've never seen our staff work together before, and these are some of the things that we're accomplishing by doing that. So again, for all of my staff sitting back there, you're amazing, you rock, and this is just one of the things that comes out of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Yes. Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I have a first on item N? Okay, I need both sides to wake
I'll
up.
first.
Alderman Rivera.
I'll second.
Alderman Seager, thank you. Motion to authorize the proper city officials to award a contract to M.E. Simpson Company Incorporated via Lake County, Illinois joint purchasing per section 2-458-I-3 for leak detection services for an amount of $40,000 to be charged to line item 555-915-524-438. Any questions to this motion?
Just kidding, just kidding.
You had that look like you did have a question. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. For items O and P, I will have Alderman Kirkwood step out. Thank you. Can I have first on motion O?
It's moving
I'll
forward.
second.
Everybody wants to do that.
Okay, Alderman Mozio, second.
Okay. I'll
Alderman
second it.
Hayes. Item O, motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class E liquor license for Jack's Pizza and Burger at 1000 North Green Bay Road. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
No.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item P, can I have a first?
I'll first.
I'll second.
Okay, Alderman Rivera and Alderman Seager. Motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class J liquor license for Town Place Suites by Marriott at 404 Lakehurst Road. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Newsome.
No.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item Q. We're going to hold on for just a minute. Item Q, can I have a first? Come on, no sleeping, guys.
I'll first.
Alderman Rivera. Come on.
Second.
Alderman Bolton, yes. Motion to adopt a resolution approving the NIMEC membership and the authority to enter into a contract for the acquisition of electrical energy for city facilities. Any questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There being no ordinances, closing time, Alderman time. Ooh, they got there quick.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us tonight. I know we're running late, and I apologize for that. Can't be helped sometimes, however. So I'm assuming the mayor just forgot to mention that there's town hall meetings scheduled coming up.
We are canceling that.
Oh,
We will. We just are working on that like an hour ago, so.
I just put
before the
signs out today in my
Okay.
ward about it.
We're going to hold off on that for, and
I'll help you
do
pick.
it a little later.
Okay, well, that's news to me. So there is no town hall meeting scheduled. I'm going to have a lot of making up to do for my husband because he was out in the rain doing it for me today, so. But that's okay. So I don't have to talk about that. So there is an environmental forum coming up. We don't have a time or
We don't
date for
have
that.
We will have that out on Facebook in the next 2 to 3 days.
Okay, great. That's awesome. I know there's a lot of people waiting for that. And then I just want to mention about Earth Week. We're really working hard to get that together. I hope any of you that are involved in the schools, the park, churches will really grab hold of this event. We're trying to clean up the whole city that week. I've spoken with Mr. Garland, and we're getting the dumpsters organized for the week so that there'll be a dumpster in every ward at least one day that week. I'm really hoping this will turn out great, and the city will really start the spring, summer season off looking good. This will go along with Mr. Sellis's plan for better curb appeal and just really hopefully get us moving in the right direction. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Alderman Hayes.
I'll pass my time. Thank you.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes, I just want to express that I have my prayers and my concerns and compassion in concerning our community and this tragic event that has happened concerning the arrest of the juvenile and the shooting. So you all know that we are definitely pushing for total disclosure of this case and that we deal with this with integrity. And secondly, I'd like to let you all know my position is I'm encouraging minority contracts concerning this casino, as well as them working with our local businesses so that we can be included in progress. And then concerning that this day, 2/22/2022 only happens once every 100 years. It's my birthday. God bless you. And this is a special day. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Alderman Seeger.
Thank you. And welcome, everybody. It's home. It feels good. Good to have you all back. I want to mention about this casino project. I sat last week with the casino's representatives, and it was all positive. I'm all for this casino. It's 25 years late, and we worked hard to get it, and now it's here, and it's coming. It's going to work out fine for everybody, all the business, everybody. Well, thank you. Have a good, safe evening. God bless you. Thank you.
Alderman Mozio.
Yeah, I was going to pass, but Alderman Seeger jogged my memory. I'd be remiss if I did not say the words of a gentleman I sat next to over here, Alderman John Balin, when we were first in the casino hunt. He said, "The corpse is out of the casket." Thank you.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. A couple things. Mayor, I'd like to know where we are with the redrawing of the lines of the ward. You know, have we had a meeting? When we will have a meeting? As I've said on several occasions, I'd like to be involved in that process so that we can all the persons know where the lines are, if they're going to be redrawn, if you've had meetings, and so forth. Also, I continue to ask that as we look at budget projections and things of that nature, that we look at increasing our police. I'm glad that we got back our neighborhood police officers, but still we need boots on the ground. We need to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe. Also, kudos goes out to the Public Works Department. They've been doing an excellent job. You did an excellent job, Mayor, in picking those two individuals to lead the Public Works Department, and they've been doing a great job, not only on the main thoroughfare, but certainly the side streets also. Also, I would encourage those individuals looking for a job that you look at AmericanPlace.com to apply for jobs. Tell a friend, but also, as I stated earlier, it's important that we get individuals in the Waukegan proverb, you know, some of those set aside. So I will continue to push for that. But once again, I think it's important that as a city, we look at trying to not only improve the curb appeal, but we also make sure that we lower the tax base for the citizens. And that's important to do that. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you. Alderman Newsom.
Pass.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So in the 6th Ward, just want to raise awareness about, again, neighborhood cleanliness. You know, the snow has melted, and a lot of debris that was covered by snow is now becoming visible. So take a few minutes to pick up trash that may be laying in the yard or in the parkway, in the street, in the gutter, by the curb. Also, a reminder again about the garbage cans and recycling cans or bins. Those go out the night before garbage day, and they should be picked up the evening of garbage day. And they should not be stored in front of your house, but alongside or in the rear. I want to mention about panhandlers. And so we all know that, or many of us know that there are panhandlers who operate at the corner of Green Bay and Grand. And there used to be a lot of them down at Washington and Green Bay, near other areas in the city. More recently, I have seen them moving into our neighborhoods, particularly in the 6th Ward, Grand and Jackson and Glen Flora and Jackson. I've heard tell they're up at Sunset and Lewis and other areas. Panhandling is a constitutionally protected right, so it's not illegal, but there are certain parameters that they must adhere to. For one, they can't be aggressive in approaching you or demanding monies from you, and they cannot touch you. It cannot impede your progress in any way. So if any of those circumstances evolve and someone is soliciting monies from you, don't engage in, argument with them. Contact the police and have the police address those issues. I tend not to, I can't say it's 100%, but I tend not to give money to panhandlers. Rather, I contribute to charity or help in other ways, and I would encourage you to do so also. But every circumstance is different, and every individual is different. Your position, your outlook, your perspective may be different from mine, but that's what I do. I generally avoid giving money to panhandlers. 6th Ward, what's coming up? So I am working, and we are getting that close to getting our radar sign up on Glen Flora for the in school zone. Hint, hint, Chief, Deputy Chief, and Flora Deputy Chief Neal. And also, Director Garland and I have been talking about over many months now the speed humps in our pilot project for speed humps in Waukegan. That's kind of coalescing, I think, and so we can expect to have hopefully something in the budget for the speed hump pilot project. And lastly, I just want to comment generally to all of my colleagues here on the dais, all the aldermen, mayor, and I just really want to tell you all how much I appreciate the tone and tenor of these meetings, that, it's very refreshing that we can have discussion, that we can ask questions and get answers and not feel intimidated or bullied or any of those things, and it makes for a much more efficient and effective council, and it allows for a much, much, much greater degree of transparency for our constituents. So I just want to thank all of you for that significant change in how the meetings are conducted. Thank you all very much, and good night.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, I want to offer my sincere condolences to all the families that have lost a loved one, especially the family of Haiti Hilda Lopez, who passed away February 17th, and also to the family of Donald Stykes, who passed away February 20th. That would be Pat and Sean Stykes. My sincere condolences to them. Also, I want to make mention, first of all, thank you to everyone who participated in audience time. But one of the things that came out of there, which is really, really important, is that change in general is good, and change is inevitable. Change will occur. One of the statements that was made was that in order for good change to occur, that it come from an outside source. Sometimes those are the best perspectives that you can get. Not all the time, but again, it just lends itself to the indication that that change is inevitable and change is good. One of the things that we'd like to do with this cleanup that Alderman Florian was speaking of was to change behavior. We would like to see, come April, when we're celebrating Earth Day, that we change the behavior of Waukegan, and Waukegan becomes a community that come April or that particular week, they know that there are going to be, you know, facilities out there for them to take their trash and to do a massive spring cleanup. And I think what that'll do is that'll continue, and over the years, behavior will be changed, and we will have a nice curb appeal. People will take pride, a lot more pride in their properties. Let me see. One other thing that I was reminded to remind everyone that job seekers and vendors can both go to the AmericanPlace.com website to submit their interest directly to the casino. So not only are they looking for employees, but they're also looking for contractors, subcontractors, and so forth. And I think that is pretty much it. Oh, happy birthday, Alderman Bolton. And she is correct. This only happens once every 100 years, 2/22/2022. With that, thank you everyone for hanging out with us here so late, and God bless you.
Thank you, Alderman. Mayor, that concludes the Alderman time.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, I just want to make one quick announcement. Thank you, Alderman Rivera, for reminding the community of those who passed. I also want to make one more announcement of somebody who passed. I want to send our sincere condolences to Lydia Lewis from the Black Chamber of Commerce on the passing of her son. As a mother, I can't even imagine what it's like to have to witness the passing of your child. So I offer my sincere condolences along with the alderman to her. With that said, I think we're ready to adjourn. Can I have a
I'll motion.
Okay. Alderman Mosio, you're not going to second that? Yeah, let's go. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Mayor.